Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm here with my good friends, Shayna Smith. She's the Vice President of Business at BVICCHA, and my good friend and sister, Chancey Klein. She's the Vice President of Hospitality. Welcome to Spotlight.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. I didn't want to start off on this, right? This was not my intention, but the divine spirit got his way of doing things. And so we came off of Peter Gay Combs talking about the cruise fees increase. And I'm not excited. I mean, you could tell, right? I'm not excited about the cruise fees increase because I've been talking about for many, many years about getting more for our natural resources. And I'm also tired of persons talking about we don't have any natural resources because we don't have oil, copper, diamonds, uranium, cobalt, rubber, that our beautiful turquoise, transparent waters and cool, soothing, yacht-friendly trade winds and our lovely, friendly, smiling people and our long, white, sandy beaches are not our natural resources. I mean, seriously?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a misconception.
Yeah, that's something that we just need to dispel right now. And of course, we created another natural resources with the legislation for our financial services industry. So those are our natural resources. For all those economists who think natural resources only come from those things in the ground. From minerals in the ground. Right? And I long thought that we should be getting more. I mean, when we started out, when we were making a transition from the agrarian economy, farming and fishing, subsistence economy, into the service economy, tourism, we didn't have anything. So we made concessions. You know, we had the Pioneer Status Act, and all these things to encourage foreign investment, and people come and we sell up all the beachfront property and they build hotels and we had to do that. That was our investment in our development. But no, oh God, that stuff is value have more than quadrupled. How do you say tentupled? I don't know.
It's increased by 10.
You know what I'm saying? To the 10th power.
Yeah.
And we still charge, 27 years later, we still charging $3 for cruising permit. 32 years later, we still charging $7 for room accommodation. And then when you raise that a couple of dollars, somebody tell you, oh, you raise it 300%. You raise it from $2 to $6, and then Shayna, you tell me, oh, raise it 300%. Why is the business community pushing back so and us getting what is justly ours for our natural resources? Welcome to Spotlight.
That's the way he wants to put us in a hot seat, right on up front. Beautiful.
Why are you pushing back on
Well, let me start out because we had a preliminary discussion, so let's have a discussion now. I think one of the things in terms of what you're saying, in principle, you're correct. We do have to. We have used our natural resources in terms of our natural environment as part of our economic base. So apart from the physical environment and the human capital is what our economy is based on. So you have all these different industries, whether it's retail, it's transportation, it's boating, all of these things have become a part of who we are. But I think what we are challenging in terms of the implementation plan of all of this, because you're right, we have waited too long, for all these years before we really start to recognize the value and say, well, for persons wanting to cruise in our waters, we think that it's worth more than what we're currently charging. And, we agree with that. But what's happening now is that and this is in any business, if food costs go up, it means then that restaurant prices will go up. The hotel prices are going to go up. So what we have is a domino effect where we're increasing the cost of doing businesses. So while you might say, well, the cruising permit went up, but remember now, minimum wage went up last year. We had an introduction of the National Health Insurance Plan last year. So all of these are increasing costs over the last 2 years. There's about 5 increases now in addition to these. That is where, for us as a business person sitting down and looking at our bottom line, it's eroding. and you're asking us to be responsible citizens and create employment and make contributions to our community, but that bottom line or our capacity to do that is becoming very limited if government decides to increase all these costs on us one time without us seeing a direct increase in revenue to compensate for that.
You agree with this, Elvis?
Help me, Sean.
Well, listen,
yes.
now I'm going to keep it real,
okay,
all right,
yeah.
as we are trying to. See, again, this is another revenue strategy. But where's the relevance in this? What's the reinvestment strategy? All right, you can take, but what are you giving? The industry has called for a national tourism master plan strategy. All right, where is the plan for all this revenue that you seek, that government seeks to collect? All right, now 27 years this fee has not been collected, and you want to blame the industry that now you've woken up and you've so now realize it's time to increase. 27 years. Whose fault is that? Do you blame the business community because there's been a lack of strategic planning
On the government's part.
on the government's part, or do you put the burden, you shift the burden? Listen, it's time for us to come together. All right, it is time for to rise above the politics, and if we're really in love with this country and want to make the nation a priority, it's beyond fees. I just want to say that, because I'm not saying the fee, some level of increase is not necessary, but increase without intelligence causes a problem.
Well, the comment again of that?
Meaning private sector and public sector.
It is a public-private partnership that makes things happen.
The public, in my phrase, is a harmonious relationship between government,
I agree.
business, and labor.
Absolutely.
Right? And so that's the only good thing I say all morning.
Yeah, but listen,
That's the only thing I agree with.
wait, you can't anticipate. How much are we
Listen.
anticipating to collect? I would love to see the analysis. How much do we anticipate to collect from the yachting industry based on this increase? And articulate to the public, what are you going to do with it?
We're going to build, listen, we just
Don't
get-
say build
no,
roads, please.
How you mean,
Please don't
you
say
want,
build roads.
The business community wants everything. They want to keep the environment clean. They want to keep they want us to pick up the garbage off the ocean. They want they want us to build a new dock. They want us to make smooth roads.
But
They
that's
want
what we
us-
pay
hold on a
taxes all
second.
the time
We
for.
want- Wait a second. They want us to provide good health care in case the visitors get sick. Everything you want. Where are we supposed to get this money from?
Let me interject here.
And then you don't want to pay $4 more for something that you've been paying for. We can get away scotch free for 27, 32
but
years.
that's
That is not
so we get no scotch
Whose
free.
fault is that?
It's not a,
No,
it's
see,
not a matter of
this is
fact.
where-
It's not a matter of
Well,
fact. No, it's not
no.
a matter of fact. It's a matter of working together. I agree with you both. I'm sure you share.
Yeah, we
Chancey,
got to
you.
work together.
Working together, and in part of our discussion is going to be the stewardship of business, because I feel that as business representatives, we're not emphasizing the stewardship of business, its responsibility for the entire country.
Make us proud. Make us proud.
Why
Of what we invest in.
did you want that we doing? You love our cruise
Listen.
ship. You love our cruise ship. That we got the best cruise ship that in the world.
No, but it has to be part of a bigger strategy.
Yes,
This
bigger
is the thing.
strategy.
This is the thing where
but
this
it
is.
is part of-
Let me show you
it's
where
part
the
of the bigger
disconnect is.
strategy.
Let me talk about where the disconnect is. We are saying yes, the solution to the problem is us coming together, but part of the problem is in defining what it is wrong. And what we find is wrong is there is a disconnect, right, in terms of government is responsible for setting the overall strategy for the development of the country.
Yes.
Right? The business community comes along, and yes, we do own all responsibility as far as being stewards of the economy, because the government is not
Not
necessarily.
only the economy, the whole country.
Well,
You
the
provide
economy.
food,
Well, okay.
sector.
Let me add it. Let me add it there to say the socio-economic development of the country.
you very
Right?
much.
That's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
That's what you want to hear. So this is about the socio-economic development of the country, and what we're finding is that there is no overall plan to say, guys, this is where we want the country to go in 20 years. As a business community, this is where we would like to see you get involved, or where your input is needed. All right. So when it is now government has for 27 years been collecting all other fees, right? but we still don't have proper physical infrastructure. It begs to ask the question then, why aren't we doing what we're supposed to do with the money that we are collecting and not just saying we want to collect more? We need to see, as far from a financial management standpoint, as you know, how all of this ties into, say, like she's saying, we're talking about our natural resources, but we still haven't seen legislation being put in place to properly regulate things like discharge of waste into the ocean, right? All of these are things that have to be part and parcel of the bigger picture in terms of the framework that we're going to sit down around a table and talk about. Because, you know, Chancy's right, the debate isn't about the fees, you know.
I hear you.
Yeah.
The debate is not about the fees.
A little too high gang up on me. Listen.
Listen.
Oh, let me hear this Chancy
listen. Any great country not only values its natural resource, it values the people. All right? We gotta start dialoguing, what do we need, not what we want. Need and want is two different things. And I just believe if we rise above political agendas and we really sit around a table and talk about what's needed, not what we think is needed, but really be able to put a true measure to what the need is and hear the people. When you hear the people, the heart of the people, it gives you direction as to where we need to go nationally. And national pride, so that's what I was talking about. Yeah, a lot of people are talking, but who's really listening to what are the salient points? What are the critical priorities we need to be addressing collectively? It's not politicians versus business. I don't want to leave this table and even leave that scent.
No.
All right, what we're saying is that if you really are listening, show us the money, show us the plan, show us the strategy, show us where we need to invest as businesses. Listen, if I lay off 20 people tomorrow, what services are available to the people I lay off? Who can help them? Who can support them? Who can guide them?
Yeah, but where's the money going to come from to do that?
I already have money.
But where is the money?
I'm blaming and
But you can't get a check on time.
You already have money.
But you see, this is where I'm bringing in the stewardship. You see, because you blaming, on one hand, you're talking about, it's not about politics, but you blaming the government, and the government blaming
Who blaming?
We blaming the government.
Business. No, you represent the business.
Yes,
when I
we
say
do.
you,
Okay.
No, I understand what you were saying.
And so I am blaming you.
You're blaming the business
I'm blaming the
community for what
business
government should take responsibility
That's right.
for.
Blaming
That doesn't make
Of course it
sense.
makes sense. Listen to me. I ain't talk enough. Listen.
Okay, let's go talk so we can react.
Yeah, let's understand.
Let's get some clarity.
How is it that we're getting blamed for what government should be responsible for?
Because you all are the ones who are putting governments in office by supporting their campaigns and spending money, giving them money for their posters and flyers and at time all over the world. And so therefore, you're the ones should be calling government to heal. You are the ones.
Which is what we're doing.
You should be calling government and saying, listen, we vote for you because X, Y, and Z. But you ain't voting for government because you're voting for them for the best interest of the country. You're voting for government because as individual businesses, you want to see how your business could succeed. So you ain't seeing your success as tied in to the interest of the overall success. You see your individual success as a business.
Okay.
That's what my problem is.
So what I think you're referring to now, first off, is a minority. I understand what you're saying. There are individuals who do support specific politicians or parties because they are looking out for their business interests.
Yeah.
I can't fault them for that. But what needs to happen is the majority needs to come together again and demand a plan. Politicians go out and they campaign on a manifesto, and we support them based on what they say they are going to do.
But
this is why. But we pushing back now, and you're saying that we shouldn't push back. No, but this is where we pushing back, and which is very strange because even like things with the recent change with the work permit. The chamber wrote to government. We asked for feedback. We attended the meetings and the committees. And the same exact thing now that the minister is coming out saying, oh, well, yes, we did receive some calls and we got feedback and we think we should start. That was the exact same feedback we gave. The timing of this thing is not, it needs to be relooked.
Because the people is asking me how many business communities are there in the Virgin Islands? Because the minister say the business community, he consults with the business community and this is what they agree to, and then the business community push back and say, we don't want this now because it will not take our budgetary cycle.
That's right.
And we want to know if there was a certain business community he spoke to, then the other business community ain't nothing about.
Listen, we invite everybody to the table.
So you have spoke
Right.
to the minister.
We spoke
Yeah,
with
we
so
wrote
indirectly through the
absolutely
through the consultation
And
process.
so
Yes.
he didn't listen to you when you say no is a bad thing.
No.
He listened after something else that must have happened. I don't know why else happened.
Yeah.
Why he listened after he bring the thing to the house instead of before he bring the thing to the
Well, I guess we could call it confirmation of what we were saying was valid. But
There were
we
several
was already
layers.
there.
Are there two business communities?
I
in this
hope
country?
not.
No, listen,
I
there
hope
are
not.
industry-specific businesses, groups that meet, and we encourage that. And the chamber, however, is a platform for small to medium-sized, large businesses that want a voice at this level. And what we're saying, one size don't fit all. So we encourage industry-specific associations and gatherings. Listen, it will take truly a mobilization around these issues to get movement,
For everybody.
especially when, and you're right, we vote for people. I mean, I can't vote, but anyway. But I'm quite sure those who vote.
But you influence folks.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
great influence.
Yes.
You know, so what I'm saying is that we need to be very mindful this next political season. All right, and we need to get around people. And I wrote a note here: when your words and your actions match, people know they can trust you. So the question is, we don't need to listen to words this time. We need to match the words with the action. All right? You had so much
That's
money.
what the slogan last time.
Well,
Actions speak louder than words.
Well,
right?
guess what?
Yes.
Well, guess what? This time, I'm telling you, we are organizing now.
Okay.
Because we want to influence this next political cycle, because it will be to our detriment if we don't.
And you're going to influence this next political cycle in the interest of the socio-economic and political interest of all
Yes.
of the people
That's
of the
right.
territory,
The
and not just
majority.
businesses.
That's
It's not just, you have to know, and I
Yeah.
know that you know because y'all are intelligent sisters, that the people, the employees that's working for you from 8 to 8 in the day, in the night, neglecting their children, not giving them breakfast, and have to leave home before they eat and come back way after they go to sleep, right? They have to get a decent living wage, and they also have to buy the stuff they're making for you to sell.
Yeah.
No, we
We
agree.
know,
No,
we
no,
know,
no,
we
no,
know
agree with
everything
you.
is like this, you know.
Yeah, but let me ask you
You
this.
understand the symbiotic,
Yes,
the
we
symbiotic
understand.
relationship.
Yeah, but how do we guarantee that by increasing the cruise permit fee, that we will be able to sustain an industry when we got competition less than 30 minutes away from? Prove it.
So do you know? Are you aware as leaders, industry leaders, and persons who represent the industry, that you need to investigate the impact of the raise in fees on the industry, and then call the government in and say, listen, my brothers and sisters, government, yes, we understand your need for revenue generation, yes, but so let us discuss now what is going to be the investment strategy, the reinvestment
right. Reinvestment
what we going to
strategy.
use that money for.
That's
Yeah.
right,
You understand?
absolutely.
And how that money, how the raise in that money is going to impact the industry
Yes.
to the point
Yeah.
where we might lose jobs for our people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? So
And-
are y'all going to be doing
So,
that?
no, well, it's
already
part of
happening.
it has already happened because
already
again,
happening.
before the cruising permit fee it went to the house, there was a consultation process, and persons from the industry represented to the specific ministry that was responsible the implications or some of the implications. The only thing that hasn't been done is that cost analysis, and this is something where we want to start to challenge the government to do. Whenever we start talking about finances, that cost and benefit analysis
Yes.
needs to be done. It cannot just be about the benefit to government, but there isn't a cost to industry. Whether it's something that can be passed on to the customer, we can't afford to make our destination more pricey than our competition. So when we talk about things like the cruising permit fee, just to give people an idea, when you start to make it more expensive for businesses to be based here versus being in St. Thomas, because they have a choice. It's not as if, well, they have to go to St. Martin. It's right there. And if majority of them, let's say, are Americans, it makes it easier for them to decide, well, okay, we're going to go and operate out of here and versus being in Tortola. We start the charters in Tortola. That means now the retailers that do the provisioning of the yachts, they start to lose out. It means now things like gas, the ancillary services like repairs. So these are the things that need to be discussed beforehand. Not just coming to us and saying, well, okay, it ain't been changed in 27 years, and I think putting on $5 more isn't going to. $5 more is a lot more than just the $5. $5 can easily translate into $5,000 a month.
So y'all know what the competition in St. Thomas is paying. And what
the industry has spoken.
What the competition in Caymans, Turks and Caicos, St. Martin, Aruba, and
well, those are the ones that we are direct competition with.
You know what they are paying for their cruising fees, and how much higher are we than what they are charging.
But they also have a tourism master plan.
Yeah, but
so the fee increase is part of the plan.
When you're talking about competition and the impact of the fee increase on the competition, y'all sit down and let the government raise the fee without telling them, listen, you can't raise the fee because your price not sort of the business.
We can
They were explained. It was explained. It was explained, but just like you just pointed out, we can say something, but apparently it needs to be validated elsewhere before something happens.
But see, the thing is that I ain't know nothing about it. I'm representing John Public.
Yes.
You understand? I don't know that y'all went and did this research.
Well, that's part of why we're here.
No. I was supposed to know. I was supposed to know. The people of the territory was supposed to know. If you're talking to the government, see, this is where I have.
That's why we here.
This is where I'm having the problem. Don't run that game.
No, you're right. I bite myself.
Don't run that game on me.
Okay, go ahead.
Listen, this is where I'm having my problem because you see, we are not sitting down together as a people. We are into this political grandstanding power grab. You understand? And crass individualism, right? That we are not sitting down and saying, we have done the research. My brothers and sisters in the government, you can't raise this yet. You can't raise this by this much. You could raise it at that particular point there, next fiscal season, you could raise it then, and you could raise it by this much, because when you raise it by this much, then it will be equal to St. Thomas.
Absolutely.
You understand? And then if they decide that they ain't studying you, then you come here.
Then I come here.
Yeah, then you come here and you tell the people, listen, we talk to these people, we talk to these men and these women that we elect, and we tell them, don't raise this thing now till the next budgetary cycle come around, and don't raise it more than $4 because more than $3 because St. Thomas is $5 and ours gonna be $6. Everybody gonna go to St. Thomas, we ain't gonna make no money, and we ain't gonna be able to pay you, and you're gonna lose your job. That's what you're supposed to do.
Were you in for an eye opener? Just because the cruising permit fee has increased, all right? If you think people have not been discussing this matter because it's been a pending issue, okay? We had a boat show at Village Key, early May. There were brokers. Brokers are the ones who book the charters, etc. The number one hot topic at that show was cruising permit fees. And at that time, the brokers who negotiate these $10,000, $20,000 charter boats made it very clear, if the BVI increase the cruising permit fee by 300%, 200%, we will divert our business elsewhere. And these brokers are based in St. Thomas, based in St. Martin. I met a group out of Paris. Let me tell you, you can anticipate this influx of revenue. But if it don't come, what you gonna do?
But aren't these people blackmailing us though? Is that a real? I mean, what have we said? What have we said to these people? What have we said to these people that come into our waters, use it up, make millions of dollars every year, and then tell us that if we raise our fee by $2, if we raise our fee by $2, they not gonna come here no more.
Yeah,
that's blackmail.
But that's fine.
What are we saying to them?
But you have to quantify it.
Are we recoiling in fear from these people?
But you got to quantify it.
No, because that was the response that we did with the cruise industry. If there is a legitimate demand coming out of the business community, Carmel can't talk out of two sides. if there's a legitimate response or a demand coming out of the business community, government has, I would say, a responsibility to listen. Because it was the same thing with the cruise industry. They're telling us, y'all need to get rid of the 10 city and get the dock up to standard of industry. What we did, we went and we invest $80 million out there. So here it is now in the cruise industry. Communications for months were happening with the Premier's office and the cruise industry stakeholders about the same cruising fee. This wasn't anything that was done in the dock, you know.
And I show facts, I show mathematics.
Whatever she does,
listen, again, it wasn't a dispute about whether or not it should be increased. Again, it was the measure and the timing of the increase. All right? So let's be clear. I would not sit here and say it did not need to be increased. I would be remiss if I did that. What I am saying is you got to listen to the industry. Timing is very critical in our industry. All right? The second point I want to make, when you book a charter, if you got 14, 15 people on a charter, all right, there is a fee for local boats and there's a fee for international boats. I believe the international was, it went to 14 or $16. All right, so some of the scenarios that were shared with me, it will tack on an additional, potentially, an additional $2,000 for a $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 charter, all right? So when the broker is dealing with the buyer, they have to add on that additional fee, and the buyer has to decide, do I go to St. Thomas where the fee may be less? It is all a negotiation, and what they're saying is that, why 300% now? All right? Could there have been a phased-in approach, as we were saying with the work permit? Again, you gotta listen to the industry, and again, it's all about what's in the best interest of the industry. On top of that, you have the environmental fee. So the question is, not only do they have to pay the cruising, potentially the cruising permit fee, they got an environmental fee because visitors on top of that. So the question becomes, then we understand that now they're checking goods on the boat and applying a duty on certain items that are coming in. That's an additional fee. So all I'm saying is that I don't have all the analysis, and I would love to see theirs.
But we asked it. We've asked for it.
You need to do your own investigation.
We do
that. Investigation, their
of course, we would have to validate.
It's going to be slanted in their
we understand.
Yeah. And you see, and they would go on. You know, this is so. I mean, this is so disingenuous. You understand? Because these people would go on for the next 100 years. Paying $2 in the cruising permit and wouldn't say a word about it. In a minute, you going up and trying to get more money for your product. All of a sudden, all this information and mathematics come from out of the woodwork to spring up like a weed to try to tell us.
We could say the same thing. If you're able to survive on a certain level of revenue for 27 years, and then all of a sudden now trying to justify the increase, I'm going to say it. Because for me, there has to be a level of fiscal responsibility on the government's part. That you just do what you want. That's what it is?
So listen. That's another internal issue that falls under your stewardship that you deal with.
No, we're not going to take responsibility as a business committee for the public sector.
Yes, no, there's no public sector, no private sector. This is what Sister Chancy was just saying. This whole politics thing about public sector and private sector, this is one sector. The economy of the BVI and the best interest of
we
all the people.
understand that. Yeah, but the CEO's job and the CFO's job, everybody has their responsibility, but we're working for the same company, BVI. So the CEO needs to do what they need to do, and then the CFO do what they do.
And you bring your mathematics to the table,
okay,
and you sit down with people who love your country, and you work it out, and then everybody benefit.
I agree.
So that you make sure that the money gets spent
properly. Everybody has to take their responsibility.
You make sure that the fees are sustainable in the economic market. You make sure that your people can live a good quality of life, and all them things come under your jurisdiction.
No, that's public leadership. I don't agree.
No, you have to influence.
We have an interest in it, but that's not our responsibility.
We have to influence that. The people that might put in power.
We agree. We have an interest.
When do we come back?
We have an interest.
an interest in
Listen.
you're interested in common.
Listen.
Yes, we are interested.
They all knowledge all of Dovey light and they show us.
No.
When we come back,
Yes.
we have a low-hanging fruit right now.
Okay.
Okay, potential revenue
Yes.
that right now the government is ignoring.
Okay.
So
Let's talk
when we
about
come
that.
back, let's talk about that.
We're gonna take a
Yeah.
break forward from our sponsor. We'll be right back with more blazing spotlight right after this one with our sister Shayna and Chancey from the BBICCHA. Don't move.
Spotlight is brought to you by Tortola Concrete Limited and CTL Home Center, the best products for the lowest prices, period.
Yes, welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Edge Renka. I'm here with my good sisters, Shayna Smith. She is the Vice President of Business and the BBICCHA. My good sister, Chancey Klein. She is the Vice President of Hospitality. And as you could see, I am putting the blame on the business community. I've been putting the blame on the business community for the last few weeks. Well, for a long time. That they're not taking their stewardship, their responsibility for the country. They are not making sure that the governments that the business community put in power, them do put them in power. No, we just vote.
Not true.
You understand? We just they could listen. They're going to
Finish your little disclaimer, man. We will ready to start back. But you know, you make a good point there in terms of the business community, whether it's a small business with one person or if it's a big business with 300 employees, not having the level of understanding that you're charging us with. And we take that because that is one of the things in terms of
God is with us. God is truly with us.
He's with you.
He's with us.
Yeah, he you know, there's been some enlightenment.
Yes,
but
yes.
I find though, again, having taken up as a director on the association, that there is a level of education and awareness that has to be brought. I think there was an assumption that government was going to do it, but it's really something that for us as the private sector organization representative of the business sector, that we need to do more in that capacity.
You have to include the whole population.
Yes,
You have
because
to, that's
that's
a minority.
Yeah.
We
only represented exactly. We only are representing.
I wanted to remember that.
Yes, sir.
Because we who got the votes.
All right,
the
sir.
people them got the votes.
Good. But
Low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit.
Right now,
Yes.
we have over 600 properties, all right, that list through Airbnb. 600.
What's Airbnb?
Airbnb is an online booking service for properties, rental rooms, villas that are not currently within the current internal revenue, inland revenue system, where they're required to pay hotel tax and those kind of business related expenses because they're under the radar. They're going through internet. So when we talk about this low-hanging fruit, all right, right now, currently in the BVI, we have no legislation, no enforcement that we're aware of based on our research, where we actually hold these 600 properties accountable for sharing in the business stewardship of the economy. So,
Trevor, who was back at me? Go ahead.
how do with this low-hanging fruit opportunity, which is a threat to us in the hospitality industry, hotels that operating above the radar, but you got these 600 properties that could potentially help to increase revenue, all right, if we would create some level of agreement or, with this internet online booking. So someone can come in here as a visitor, go stay in a villa, all right?
I'll come stay in my house.
Well, come stay in your house, exactly.
Make some money on this deal.
You pay online,
Yes.
and that money never hits the treasury.
Yes.
That's low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
So while the government is constantly looking at ways to increase our costs, why not deal with this new revenue stream
Yes.
that is potential taxes to help further the national agenda above politics, coming together, fund those kind of things.
And you see now, you're setting me up It's setting me up the small men, for a lack of better word. I don't necessarily like that term, but I think it's the one that we understand.
Okay.
It's setting me up the small men, local men, who could get a little something out of the tourism industry against the big men, who is, for the most part, the international investor, right? So that now I feel like, well, you're attacking me. I try and make a living, a little bread on the side, and you got this man, this international investor who got millions of dollars to advertise all over the world and bring in the high-end client. I get a pool. People them coming to my house.
No. You look at those listings.
And
you go look at those listings.
But that's still not fair.
I might be wrong on something past that.
you are on that.
I might be wrong on something past that.
Yeah.
The overall point is, then now you have to come together with those businesses, the small men, and you got to say, let's see how we could work this thing out, where we could coexist in our environment.
So that's what we're saying. It needs to be regulated.
Wait.
Can we exist? Can we coexist?
Let me tell you.
Can I coexist with
when you shared with us earlier, how do we expect the roads to be fixed? How do we expect the hospital to be funded? How do we expect the business climate, the services that we need to support our work? How else can we expect that if everybody's not
and so
paying
you have to say, then you have to say to those 600 people, yes, of course, you have to say to those 600, you have to say, no, I'm just using that
Okay.
word. That's what I want to say. But what you have to say, in my view, what you have to say to those businesses, those 600 businesses that you mentioned, listen, you have to pay your fair share.
But they don't have a trade license. What are we talking about? How they gonna be business if they don't have a trade license?
But all of that, you got to bring them into the fold. You got to say, listen, you got to get a trade license. You got to pay your fair share. We don't want you to go to business. We don't want to take business share from you. Yes, these comes from you.
And
but you got to pay your fair share because all of us in this thing together.
Exactly.
And so,
but that's what we're saying.
Well, it's not your job in the sense that you have to physically go to do because you don't have time. You don't have time. But you need to say to the government that you put in power. Because the government that you put in power are businessmen just like you. Yes, indeed. The business community is in power in the government. That's a fact. You ain't got to go nowhere to prove it, guys, right there in front of you.
Because they're business owners?
That's right. They are the business owners, and this is their interest. And they should have been members of the chambers as well. You should make sure about members of the chambers that they been members.
I take the fifth on that.
So, you got it.
This is where we make a lot of assumptions on some of these things, right? Because they are wearing two hats. So because business owners are in the cabinet, that does not mean they're in there defending business interests, because they have to defend the public interest as well. And sometimes the business interests get leave behind because of public interest.
What I'm trying to get you to understand is that the business interest should not be any different from the public interest, because business have to do.
They don't align all the time. Reality is that they don't align all the time, Cromwell. That's why sometimes things happen like downsizing. No, it can't align all the time. If I have to downsize, listen. If I have to downsize my business, I have a choice of downsizing my business versus closing, right? Yes. Which means I might have to lay off 5 versus put in 50 unemployed.
Right.
They don't always align. That's the reality of the business. Business.
Yes, they don't align in that
all
sense.
The time.
They don't align in that sense.
They don't align all the time.
They don't align all the time in that sense.
Okay, good.
Yeah, that's one good example.
Yeah.
Right. But what I am saying is that you have to still make provisions for them, because even in their unemployment, they still have to support the business community.
Definitely.
They still have boys' stuff. They still have to rent.
They still have to live.
That's right. The children still have to go to school and got to buy clothes, food.
We agree.
So you have to still make, the business community still have to make provisions, have to still talk to the government.
You're right. And we don't raise issues, but the dialogue has to come back on.
Environment where businesses can thrive, not just survive.
Of course.
Okay? So when you talk about policy making, which is critical and which has legacy impact.
And business have to have an influence in policy making.
But you first got to have some level of access. Not only access, if it's, let's go back. So what I said was that, number one, it's so important, right? With these opportunities that we have a lot of opportunities to come together and really, really make this thing work.
Yes.
All right? We need to stop looking us versus them.
Yes.
That's not my perspective.
Yes.
All right. Now,
Yes.
just because we're here,
That's where I'm going.
Just because we're here protecting the interests of the business, don't mean we're anti anybody.
Yes.
We need to
I
deal
hope
with
not.
issues.
Yes.
Issues are the reason why I came here today.
Right.
All right. Ain't coming for no personality, who, what.
Yes.
But I am concerned about the people. And we all should be concerned about the people. But government has to create an environment where we as businesses cannot just barely survive, but we can thrive. And policy drives that. But after policy, all right, you gotta have a big picture. The big picture is what drives policy. And policy also is followed up with an implementation. How are we gonna get this done? We hear a lot of policy, but there's a gap somewhere when it comes to the whole implementation and understand how did this trickle down to the everyday people? How does this trickle down to the lay person? Because at the end of the day, you're right, it's a cycle. It all feeds one into
It's
another.
a symbiotic relationship.
Yes. And
One
we
hand
cannot
wash-
can't survive without the
one
other.
hand wash
And
the
we
other.
cannot forget that.
One hand can't clap. Everybody gotta be working together for the common good.
Yeah.
That's
So are
all
we?
my argument
So
is.
are we?
And if we are not, I'm blaming y'all.
No, I disagree. I rebuke that.
Whoa, hold on. What exactly are you blaming us for again?
That in the name of the Lord.
What exactly are you blaming us? What exactly are you blaming us for? Not holding our leadership accountable for doing what it is they need to do in the best interest of everybody?
Yes.
All right, we
If
take
you
that.
feel- If you feel that they're
We take
not,
that.
if you feel that you call them in and you sit down and you say, my brothers and sisters, look what you're doing.
Yeah.
This affecting us and affecting us being able to provide for all our people.
Yeah.
And so you can't.
As a
do that.
result, the socio-economic
You
development of the
can't
country
do that,
got
my
even
brothers.
impacted.
This is how we got. I don't know all the answers. You
Yeah.
don't know.
No.
Let's see what we could work out.
Come together.
Let's come together, make a compromise,
some
and see how-
solutions.
But when
and-
we
yeah.
go ahead. But when we come to the meeting of the minds of what needs to happen, and we both get up out the room, and you go in the House
And
of
still do what
Assembly,
you want.
and you do something counterproductive,
Next election day will
got
not
to
be
go.
back.
All right, very good. Listen,
He said that
doesn't matter.
Or and that only depends on how important it is. If it is a matter of life and death,
It
that
is life
is-
and death.
let me tell you, that is staying there for the next election.
Well, let's bring it on.
You understand what I'm saying?
Bring it on.
Yeah, we gonna get all the safari buses them in the country gonna be loaded up Eastern, Caribbean, Western, everywhere coming in the admin complex and telling them pack your stuff and come down from behind them rows with this right now.
Yeah. Well, I can say this, and
that's their formula is where we talk about empowerment of people.
That's
Because
like that, yeah.
even if it comes to having to have a strong action like that, right? Before we get there, though, we would like to think we're dealing with reasonable people.
And that's what, yes, and
Yes.
that's
And
what,
go
that's what we want.
ask for a meeting.
That's what we want.
And say to, and this is the thing where I
But you
feel
gotta get the people behind you. You can't abuse us. The business community can't abuse us, the people, and then
that's a strong word you just used.
okay, well, give me a better word. But the business community we can't feel.
take it for granted.
You can't take us for granted.
Can't take it
we
for
can't
granted.
feel like we're being exploited.
Yes.
We can't
Agreed.
feel like you're marking up things 500% when you could mark them up 200%.
Yeah.
We can't feel like we can't live. I can't buy a laptop for my child and I work in 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
We can't feel that kind of
Imagine.
pain. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we all got to work together.
Gotta work together.
I got to
For good quality of life.
and don't expect me to stop buying online. Don't expect me to stop shopping St. Thomas. If I can't afford it. If I could come to you and say, listen, I gonna get a price for TV St. Thomas for $300, and when I add on duty free, transportation, and all this other kind of stuff, it comes to $400. And you telling me you can't sell it to me for less than $1,000? Well, how you expect me to behave?
Yeah.
Yeah, but where is the consumer protection? I mean, all of those things are key to protecting the interests of the consumer.
And so
And
and so
business.
are
And the
you
business.
are you supposed so these are business, consumer, employee, employer, government,
Regulator. Everybody got to come around the table.
the people are the national issues. These are
Yeah.
all
National
national
issues.
issues.
Listen, workforce
Yeah,
development.
because cost of living is everybody
national
problem.
issues together.
Together.
Yeah.
We're not.
Yeah.
We here with you.
Yeah, so that's
We're,
what,
we're not. And
that's-
how do you
that's-
help us get there? How do you help us as a facilitator? How do you help us get to that place where we can legitimately come around a table and not fight, but face our reality? And facing our reality is focusing on that which is critical.
Yeah.
It's about the destiny of this country.
So you're talking about me personally?
Yeah.
I'm doing it right now.
Well,
I've been working at it now for more than a year, and I'm doing it right now. This is what this is all about.
But I think
it is. But
Yeah.
I'm saying as we move from this space,
Yes.
because this is a public forum and that's fine, but where do we have a meeting space where we can really deal with the salient issues that are really affecting all of us?
Yeah.
It's a matter of requesting.
We've requested. Oh, please.
But you need more unified numbers.
Okay.
That's what you need.
Okay,
You need more
in terms of the business
unified
community.
The
Yeah.
business
Okay,
community
got you.
needs more unified
So we gotta go
numbers.
grassroots.
Yeah.
Listen.
Okay,
I'm telling
all
you, this was worked all over the world. The unified numbers action has worked everywhere on the planet in places where democracies. You understand? The only place it don't work is dictatorship. As long as I could vote, as long as I have a say,
You have the
in
power.
matter, I got a power.
You have the
And
power.
all it means is that if 10,000 of us have the same mind, there ain't no way you can. There ain't no way
Yeah,
you can
but
have
what
this.
do you do?
I think one of the things though, that in terms of a challenge, because I agree with what you're saying, but one of the challenges that has happened over the years that has developed the apathy that we have now,
Yeah.
where the majority feels, they've not been heard, they're not being responded to. They've talked to their local representative, they've talked to the minister, they might that have written or sent emails or called, but we need leadership when it comes to the grassroots movement now.
And
I see where that's where persons like the Chamber of Commerce or any other organization has to start to step up.
And you know
in
why?
those
And you know-
capacities.
And you know why? Because the grassroots feel that there's nobody looking out for their
them.
interests. You understand? The government got its own interest, the business got its own interest, and all we doing is getting blows. I mean, by taking my licks, everything. every time
talking to somebody.
every time to somebody, by
Yeah.
taking my licks.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's what the whole thing is.
Yeah.
And I don't want to pretend to be a prophet or necessarily speak things into that I don't want into power.
Okay.
But all of the persons who have written about economic theory and philosophy have pointed out that at some point the majority of the human beings as being oppressed will rise up and
Yeah.
either create a new environment for themselves or destroy completely the environment that exists.
Yeah.
History tells you that.
It's
shows you
history,
that.
and we got evidence of it all
Yeah.
over the world. And
Yeah.
I am doing this because I'm saying that is not necessary to happen in the BVI.
Yeah. Because we can do better.
We are
can do better.
reasonable, intelligent people,
Yeah.
and we need to sit down and have a discussion with each other about what we need to go instead of this whole power grabbing, interest grabbing. Oh Jesus Lord,
Yeah.
it's just a mess.
Yeah.
I mean, and all day long on Facebook, that's all you hear. On the radio, that's all you hear. And the online press is all you hear. This talk about this negativity, this drawing, this pulling.
And a lot of blaming. Yeah.
Let's talk about the challenges of business, because I beat business up now, and no business got some challenges,
Yeah.
right? And a couple of things every time. And the reason why I asked the question in the very beginning about whether there's two business communities is because I don't hear the international business community complain. And that's my fault, because I don't be around the international business owners of the international business community, so I don't know whether them complain or not. And they don't make no whole heap of loud
They make
noise.
representation though.
Well, I imagine that they would make representation. What I do is I see the manifestation of the representation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they do
You
representation.
understand?
Yeah.
But my poor by them, who I play basketball with, you understand, who are businessmen. By, we got the internet killing us.
That's
Can't
real.
get the government to listen to nothing what we saying.
It's true.
Let me see, I got a whole bunch of stuff here.
You sound like you open up a bureau on the court. While you're looking for a list.
Yeah.
So-
Duty and this, too much duty. The two-tier duty system we can't get implemented because the people, the individual paying the same duty as a business, and the business got its overhead, and the business provided food, clothing, and shelter for them same people who are going in St. Thomas, and coming back duty with the same duty. That's a problem.
If they pay.
If they pay at all.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of us are
because you go buy St. Thomas, buy the chicken duty free, but I got to buy the chicken as a business and pay duty on it.
Yeah. Then that's right. And then the other thing is that you give us a trade license to do a business, and then we small and we growing and we trying to get business, but then you let international multinational conglomerate come in to do that same business and can take over our market share. We can't grow. It's stunt our growth.
You give them all the concessions.
You give them all the concessions. You stunt our growth, and then we go to business, and then you say, "We see, we no good."
Yeah, we can't survive.
We can't survive.
Yeah.
Right? Why else? I talk about the internet, the today. Too much taxes on the business community.
Now this is what you're hearing from
from my brothers, from our local businesses.
Yeah.
You understand?
Because when you think about it, if a startup business started business in the last 2 years, they are already at a disadvantage with all these changes, depending on what industry they're in, from the jump. And those are the things where we have to think about not just the existing businesses that we feel are well established, but if you as a small business started within the last 3 years and you had minimum wage went up, you have to pay health insurance, you have to pay pension, you have to pay, if you're doing alcohol sales, you have to pay now for the liquor license. All of these are things that we are saying again, the cost benefit analysis has to be done, looking at different scenarios of how these things are going to affect everybody. Because let's say, for example, and I had this experience now with the telecom. Yeah. If I reported my phone isn't working, and 2 months later, only then somebody started to show up to your house to find out what's going on. If you are a business person, how are you going to be without your phone for 2 months? If we have government as a regulator for that particular sector has to be more aggressive, I think, with the level of service delivery that's being done, because the crazy thing is that they are part of the business community, but they themselves have to understand you are impacting the overall picture of the socio-economic development of the country when you don't deliver good services.
So again, and I don't want to talk about the phone at all. I try to keep my blood pressure down.
That's a kasha tree.
That's a pain body.
Yeah, you see all the kasha. Stay out the kasha book. You know what you declare.
I don't want to talk about the phone because nobody I'm listening to about the phone companies is getting what they're paying the phone companies for. And they are so
that's a consumer protection issue.
What you could do anything about. Anything about.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So when we talk about supply versus demand, economic supply versus demand, we were looking for a new telephone system for the property. So when we look at what are the needs of the country, do we keep replicating the same businesses over, and do we keep issuing the same license for the same business over and over again, or do we do a true analysis of where the gaps, and that's what I talk about. Where are the gaps in the tourism industry? Where are the gaps in the retail market? And who can rise up
and provide
to
those services
and meet that gap? See, that when you want to talk about economic empowerment, you got to look from that lens, because if you don't look for that lens, then you keep offering the people more of what they already have when they're really looking for something different.
And oversaturate the market.
Well, that's a dangerous situation too, because while you have to look at it from the purely service versus value, service and value for money, right? When you have to look at it from that perspective, that's only one perspective. But you also have to look at it, and I like to encourage you to look at it from a national security perspective.
Yes.
The fact, the owners of the industry within the territory, and who those owners are. You understand? Because that's an important issue. Because you got people who could just pick up and turn off.
That's the crux of the matter.
People could take up and go and turn off and go.
But that's what happened in slavery. When they pick up and turn off, they left us here to fend for ourselves.
Yeah, but that's right. But our people know we have to beat them. We can't throw them out. You understand? But we got to get some time and whip. And we got to beat them to provide the services that they should be providing.
You got to hold them to the fire.
We have to hold their feet to the fire.
Hold them to the fire.
But I'm saying there are still some services that are not offered.
Right.
So these entrepreneurs that we're raising up, you hear, this thrust of entrepreneurship, which is great. It helps to fuel the economy. But are we raising up or growing entrepreneurs who can meet a need? All right, because need is important. Or we're adding more to the supply.
Yeah, let's take a break. Let's take a quick break and come back because I think I got a feeling we've been here a long time. I got a feeling we fall under the 30 of the clock and don't know it. Because we're having such a good time. But that's a good point. What type of entrepreneurs are we raising?
Yes.
You understand? And do these entrepreneurs
Understand
their stewardship and their social,
You're on to
political, and economic
Yes.
role? We're going to take a break. We come right back with
You're
more
on it.
Spotlight right after these words from our sponsors.
Spotlight is brought to you by Ocean Conversion BVI Limited and BVI Tourist Board. We are one BVI.
Welcome back to Spotlight. I'm Ed Cup, trying to stay calm. But I'm having a good time. We're having a good time.
This is a good conversation.
Good conversation.
This is a friendly. This is a love chat.
Yes.
It's a love chat. It's a love chat.
With a little fire.
Yes, a little fire. Yeah. And passion,
Passion.
Yeah.
Passion. You can't have love without passion. Don't work.
That's right.
I'm here with my good sisters, Shayna and Chelsea from the BVI CCHA, and we talking about business in the BVI, and we laying it out, we laying it on the table.
Yeah.
We left off talking, Chelsea, about the new entrepreneurs, the young people that's coming into business, and and I usually get the feeling that when we go into business, we think that it's just about hanging out your shingle and raking in the box, and then as soon as you get enough money, you buy a Range Rover.
That seems to be the understanding sometimes.
You know what I'm saying? That's how it looks sometimes. Or you buy a cigarette boat, or you buy 3, And so I think that we need to start having a discussion with our young people about the importance of business providing food, clothing, and shelter for the population.
Yeah.
It's a big responsibility when you decide to be a business owner.
You got your business, you got 5 families. You got your business, you got 10 families. You got your business, you got 100 families you're responsible for. Each of them families got 3 children. And
Yeah.
Serious.
there's a lot,
It's a big responsibility.
It's not a joke. It's another joke. You're responsible for the lives of your country.
And we've been saying it all
And-
through the show.
yeah.
Socio-economic development.
And your people and the government, you making sure that this government in every year, every 4 years, and you have to continue to engage them. You can't just turn them loose, put them
After the day after.
You turn them loose and you gone to go try to make money.
Yeah.
Can't work that way.
No.
Unified numbers action have to be ready and armed.
All the time.
You understand? To bring accountability
Yeah,
and
accountability, that's
transparency and
Yeah.
vision and mission and purpose.
Yeah.
We're talking about raising young entrepreneurs and
Yeah,
let's talk about that.
I think it's essential that they understand, meaning the new entrepreneurs, what the country needs.
Yes.
And as you plan and as you get this creative juices as to what kind of business do I start, where's the demand? What are we lacking? And I think not only that, but providing the support is necessary. But also getting them to understand it's more than just hanging out a shingle.
Yes.
There's so many factors, to opening a business. We need to raise up new entrepreneurs, as we also need a workforce that's applicable to the needs of our business. And I think that discussion is not fruitful enough, is not being had.
Yes.
I would love to, we've been talking about a hospitality institute. How do we strengthen that? How do we meet the needs? So entrepreneurs could be birthed out of that, but they also could be birthed out of because the country has a plan, economic plan, it can identify those areas where we have opportunities. And I have not seen that. I have not. Have you?
I haven't seen it, but the vehicle.
Yes.
You understand? The vehicle is packed on the side of the road. You understand? Don't have no 4-wheel drive, and the tire them flat.
Yeah.
to do that thing what you saying there, and that's a National Business
That's
Bureau.
the national. Yeah. Okay.
That's a National Business Bureau.
Yeah.
And so I encourage us,
Okay.
you understand, to make representation to the people that we have hired to perform the duties of the things that of the functions that we have in common, because that's all the politicians is, them is employees, them is our employees that we hire to manage our affairs in common.
Yep.
So what happens when the employee is
you fire them.
You're fired.
You fire them. And I mean, they ain't complicated. I don't understand why I am making the thing so complicated, right? So the National Business Bureau, and bureau is a short form of the word bureaucracy. So it should be a bureaucracy. Not two men can be in a bureaucracy. Not two men. Not
They
four
have to
men
have a
can.
system.
We need people who could write business plan, financing proposals,
Training.
lawyers, accountants,
Yes.
masters of business administration,
Yes.
who could identify trends. You see, when you talk about when you're there talking about identifying needs,
That's
we
right.
got people who went to school to identify
Yeah.
needs.
But you also have to have the data, and that is a huge monster. Huge mountain.
Data gathering, a secretariat, we need a national business bureaucracy to manage our business,
intelligence of that.
our business affairs that we have in common.
Yeah.
So if we are going to develop businesses, we have to have the development of businesses have to have a certain process.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
And this bureaucracy need to manage that process effective and efficiently, so that the business and the startup are successful
Yeah.
and grow to be small business,
Medium.
business,
large.
big business, international business.
Exactly.
We want the
Yeah.
business to eventually start bringing money into the country, because as we know, we have to wait till the international investor bring the money into the country before, as big as Clarence Thomas says, before Clarence Thomas could get any money, because he don't sell to the international community, before he could get any money, the international investor got to bring the money in so he could get this, so he could go in his store and buy stuff. That is a national security issue.
Wow.
You
Because
understand?
when we hold in.
Yeah, so we have to get that straight.
Yeah.
I'm
And it really starts with, again, going back to having that vision of this is what we want to have as a society. This is the quality of life we want to have as a society.
Yes.
And from there, the plan is how do we get it done?
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So the regulator, as far as government goes, they have to have certain agencies in place, like the NBB, like the Trade Department, like the Inland Revenue, Social Security Board. All of these are things that are, your role is to facilitate business in the country.
Yes.
You
And I
know,
want-
And
and
not to
provide
make it complicated.
services. Yeah.
Not to, and so when you talk about how should our money that we invest and the fees that we pay, it should be designed to improve and make those systems more
Better.
efficient and accessible.
And y'all should make sure of it. Okay, I should make
We're
sure.
dropping off the message.
I should drop off
we're dropping the message.
We're dropping off the message today.
And the people, you have to bring the people along with you, because I do not want to have to organize the people.
You're going to get a Safari bus then.
I do not want to have to organize the people. You understand? Because it's
Okay.
not going to be pretty.
It's not
I
going-
do not want to have to organize the people.
Okay.
I want the people to be organized by you and to be as part of the harmonious process of the success of what I call my homeland. 'Cause I ain't got no place else to go, and every place else I went, I experienced a level of discrimination that I ain't going back there again. I'm telling you, plain, I ain't going back there again for nobody telling me what. I mean, have you ever experienced not knowing whether you ain't get the job because you wasn't good enough, or you ain't get a job because you were black? Have you
Or
ever
because you're a
experienced-
woman.
Or because you're a
Or a
woman?
woman.
Okay, all
no
right,
place there.
let's talk.
All right. So I ain't going back there again.
Yeah.
All right.
We with you.
We want you
We're going to make this work.
It's really good. It's really good to
Yes,
have y'all.
it's always a pleasure.
And listen, y'all don't abuse me enough. You know. I try my abuse.
You're like the great.
Yes, I try my
Listen,
abuse.
you know,
So-
we are volunteers. Let me just be clear.
Yes.
All right, we are not paid by the chamber to do
That's
all
right.
that we do.
That's right.
It's out of the love for the
Yes.
country,
Yes.
out of the love to help businesses thrive and not just survive.
Yes.
So we need more laborers, co-laborers in
Yes.
this work. So
Yes.
I just want to appeal today, no matter if you have one employee, 20, 50, we need you.
Yes.
You know, we need this unified member action that
That's
you've
right.
been talking about.
That's right.
And if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
Yes.
Stop whining and
you
complaining.
can't shut your door and whine and complain. You gotta add your voice to the work.
If this is your home, you have to pay the
Absolutely.
mortgage.
Yeah.
That's
you
right.
have to fix the plumbing. You got to give away the gas and electricity, and you got to keep it clean. You got to weed your yard. If this is your home,
Yeah.
if you're entitled to this home, you have to also take responsibility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a part to play.
Yeah.
You have a part
You,
to play.
you got something coming. up.
So, along those lines, and you didn't know anything about this, but the discussion was perfect to end on this note. We're having an extraordinary general meeting on the 11th of July at 6 p.m. It's going to be at Morin's conference room.
Yes.
And there we're going to be discussing, again, some of these issues as far as how do we make representation to government. Because one of the things that we have committed to as this new board is to be very proactive. We don't want to wait till when somebody decides, okay, we're going to change this policy, so we need your consultation. But that we are looking, you know, at the issues and saying that these are the things that we think are needed. This is the analysis that we have done.
Yes.
But again, we don't want it to just be the board of directors. We want it to be the members are giving and participating very active
And
in
them
saying that they're part of
same
it.
people who are complaining ain't come to the general meeting.
They have to come.
They
They
ain't
have
get
to
involved
come.
in the
And that's
general
it.
meeting. And that's the problem.
That's the
They are
problem.
still
we
working.
still represent them.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you're
Okay,
still
and
here.
I just need I
Yes.
just need to be
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
Because at the
But
end
they
of
need
the
to take their
day,
responsibility.
at the end of the day, we all have to make our contribution.
Yes.
But sometimes you got to demonstrate to people that it can happen.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful. I believe we're hopeful. And we're here today because, again, it's a bigger picture.
Yeah.
This is not about politics.
Yes.
This is above, this is a national agenda, a national plan, not an assessment. That's a part of the plan. You know, we need to continue the dialogue and conversation and come together with the meeting of the minds and leave our egos outside the door and let's deal with some real issues that are necessary in order to move forward.
This is about the harmonious and efficient and effective allocation of our total national resources for the improved quality, improve and enhanced quality of life for all the citizens.
And when we see that,
that is politics.
that's it.
So,
He took it right back. He took it right back.
Everything is
It's politics, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she's talking about
But
politicking.
not in a divisive
Yeah,
she's
sense
talking about
that
politicking.
that we've been engaging in.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
not politics. It's,
Yeah.
it's good policy.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
Because politics blow with the wind.
Yeah.
That's a
I understand what
politicking.
you're saying.
Policy is legacy.
Yeah.
And the question is, what legacy
Are we
will
leaving?
we leave
Yeah.
Yeah.
for the generations to come? And I pray God hold us accountable.
Yes. Yeah,
That if we leave nothing,
we will be held accountable. Yeah. and we
One
will
way or
suffer-
other,
and
and
we
we're
will
gonna suffer the
we will
consequences.
Yes,
Trust-
absolutely.
trust me, yeah.
Thank
The
you so
blow-
much.
The blow is
We
going to be so
appreciate
hot.
You and Miss Cameron with
I'm telling you, when God beat you, get some good
Yeah,
news.
you're good.
God knows to hit
Oh,
the right
next-
spot.
Yeah.
It was a real pleasure. So
Yeah.
the general meeting coming
So
up
the
is
11th of July at 6 p.m. at Morin's conference room. So whether you're a member or not of the
That's
chamber,
right.
this is your opportunity to come out,
Yes.
get involved, understand more about what the chamber is. Because we get that question a lot, and that's again one of the things where we're trying to do the public awareness and education as far as this is what the chamber does, and this is why you should be involved in the chamber.
Yeah. Come back to the spotlight anytime you want.
All right.
I make
Awesome.
it,
Thank you.
I make it.
The door is open
This is the form.
That's
This
wild.
is the
true.
form.
Yeah, and you could come on the radio too, wherever I am.
wherever you
Wherever I
are.
got soapbox, or you lay yourself on that soapbox.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's a privilege. It's a privilege.
Thank you
and
for
honor.
having us.
Yes, indeed. Wow, it was great. Spotlight, of course, is seen here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. on JTV Channel 55, and we broadcast on Sundays at 2:30 p.m. Watch Spotlight on demand at jtvlive.net, or go on Facebook, facebook.com/spotlightbvi to see all the latest shows. Whatever you miss, you can check us out there. Email me, go on Spotlight, make a suggestion, topic, guest, we want to see what you want to talk about. Get involved, man. Take your responsibility. If you feel entitled, you got to be responsible. Take your responsibility, and make your contribution. I'm Edjuenka reminding you that when the spotlight is on, you see the facts. Peace and blessings.
Spotlight is brought to you by CCTBVI, Life Unlimited, and the National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official Bank of Paradise.